Hey, composing gloves here. I'm wearing a hat, and today I'm going to show you something that blew my mind. I will show you how to do this. Check this out. Let's go to a new file. So we go to new, and it's new. So I've not touched this file before. And I'm going to use my up and down arrow keys after bringing my channel rack into focus if I'm in the correct project. There we go. Check this out. I will turn knob 1 on my MIDI controller. It controls the volume. What? But I didn't link these up already. This is the magic of override generic link. This allows you to set up permanent links so that when you have a particular thing in focus, such as Harmor, you can control things like, for example, the pluck knob. So let's talk about how to do this. It's actually pretty simple. So what we're going to do is, first off, there are project links from your hardware or any other controller that happen per project. I think they're even called per project links. So they only exist within a particular project. They will override. They are above priority in terms of these generic links that are there by default. Then there are these ones that are set globally that will work in every instance so that when you have a particular thing active, for example, an instance of Harmor, it will remember this. Another thing that's really cool is you can also link these to CCs using the same method. So what we're going to do first is, first up, we'll look at this and let's say, okay, well, I would like to make it so that this volume thing works, because that's pretty convenient. So if you have like controllers lying around that you don't use that often, you could use them so that, oh, now I can, just push that fader instead of having to reach over here and click this. You could be creative in a very tactile, very fast moving way. So all you have to do is say, all right, I want to, let's say you want to get rid of one first. I guess I'll show you that so that I will redo it. You simply right click whatever it is and you go to override generic link and you hit reset. Now, when I move my controller, no dice, man. That stinks. So let's say I want that back. So I'm going to right click on whatever I want to control. I'm going to click override generic link. I'm going to move it says auto detect. So as soon as I move it, bang, I'm in business. It now moves. So as I select different channels, it will automatically control the volume on those channels. So that's pretty freaking cool. Now, let's say that you want to set it up so that this knob. So, by the way, as far as I know, you can only control one thing. Let's try controlling another thing. Override generic link. Let's do this one. So override generic link here. Yeah, you can only control one thing using this, I believe. So one knob per thing, as I'm aware of. I've set up knob number 2 to control my my panning. Now right now, what I've just done is I've set up, so I've override generic link and you just move the knob. It's literally that simple. And as I move it, bang, it's moving that knob, but all the other knobs in my session, if I go to another channel, it still controls the volume. So it's Harmor specific. If anyone knows how to do the multiple link, now you do have this option. You can't multi-link to controllers per session, per project. So for example, let's say that I wanted to control this knob with that same knob number 1. Well, I'm going to click this here. And this is, so if I click this, what you need to do is you move the thing you want to control. And it says, hey, he moved that. A little message pops up. And I move the control and now it controls that. But it undid my because it overrides your generic links. So if you want to do this, in order to get one controller to control 2 things, this is what you got to do. So you control the one thing. So you click it and you move and boom, you're in business. The other one though, you have to right click and go to link to controller. You have to do it through here because this only allows you to control one thing. Right here, you see we have this remove conflicts button. This will take away whatever else it's controlling so that you can control this thing. So you take that off, hit accept, or not accept. You move your controller and now you see it controls both of them. Now, another thing you can do that's a little more advanced, and I do actually use it occasionally, is you can write out a formula so that, let's say that you want this one to be like inverted. So you hit accept. So now this one turns down when this turns off when this turns on, basically. So you can come up with controller formulas. However, I think that it's easier. Now, sometimes I do want everything to do the same thing when I'm controlling filters, and I want all the filters to do the same thing. And I'll use the other thing, like weird formulas and stuff, for when I want filters to just be like random, or any other controls for that matter. So it's more of a creative endeavor, but usually I'll control things with their own automation clips so I can be, pretty specific about what I want. Let's try that other thing. So let's override the generic link here. Let's hit reset. Let's move it. Oh, it's got per project settings. So instead of undoing all that junk, let's just let's reset that. Let's reset this. Okay, cool. So we should be available now. So we're gonna go override generic link. There it is. And now let's try linking to control this one to controller. So link to controller. Move conflicts is off. Nope. So you do have to do it separately. Now, okay, so the one other thing, and then I'll show you some cool things you can do with CC. So let's say that you wanna automate a bunch of things to what's on your controller surface or whatever. But now Ableton's really friendly in this regard, but you know, it's whatever. So on this one, if you do your multi-link to controller, the reason why it's called that is if you move multiple things, boom, boom, you see you get multiple messages. We'll move this one and we'll move that. So we've got 4 things we want to send messages to. Now you must use 4 different controls on your keyboard or whatever controller surface you have. So if we move this, there's 1, 3. Oh, I'm on 3 already. I'm 4. Oh, there we go. It did let me do 4. So there we go. Doom, doom, doom. All bang right off the gate. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm messing with my knobs, playing with Harmer. What now? Take that, son. So that kind of a thing. So anyways, that is how you do that. Now let's talk about CC, because I am all the time. So now I'm going to go to like my new project, right? And I want to be able to just fly through and set volume and do things very tactile like. I work on my laptop so much though that oftentimes I just don't have portable MIDI control, at least MIDI controllers I don't take with me. So one of the things with Contact is I want my mod wheel to automatically control the dynamics, which I have set up to do automatically. Some plugins will do this for you already, some won't. This one didn't because of reasons. So I'm going to show you how to set this. So first, let's go to override generic link, and let's just go ahead and reset it. So it no longer does it, right? So to get it to control CC values, first you go to browse parameters. Or browse, not browse presets. Yeah, browse parameters. There it is. And there it is. And then you come down here and you have all these CCs. And literally all you do is you go to the one you want to control. In this case, it's CC1, because that's typically what a plugin expects the mod wheel to be. And I'm going to go override generic link and simply move the mod wheel. And I am in business. Now, whenever this is inactive in keyboard focus, it will work. Now, remember, I showed you with Harmer, I can set this mod wheel to control, like, for example, in my Harmer, there's nothing that's linked to it. So what I can do is I can override generic link here, and I can move the mod wheel. So now the mod wheel controls that in Harmer, while over here it controls this. So depending on what is in focus, it will change that. Okay, so now you know the secret. So if you need to control stuff with your controllers, and you can set it up to do over multiple projects, super tactile. So if you've got faders or whatever, you can do this and set it up. It changes a workflow. Believe me, when you're able to just do stuff like that, it's a different experience than using your mouse to do everything. Especially with things like Contact that you want control like that. Now plugins again will oftentimes support you, and they'll have things already sort of configured so they automatically talk. For example, if we go to the sustain pedal, which earlier where MIDI. So this has a couple of global options. For example, accept where's that? Support, hold, and sostenuto. So if I push my pedal, it's already supported. So this thing is hooked up to CC64, and if I push my pedal, I'm already good to go. So if I pull up like a piano library, it'll already trigger it correctly. So that kind of stuff's already set up for you in the background. But this other stuff is so useful for getting yourself going, and it's a per setup basis. So they don't want to just give you generic stuff, because it depends on what you want to do. And you can make this work with third-party stuff. Really, really, really freaking awesome way of doing things. If you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe. Support me on Patreon. And have a blessed day.
So it's completely, different.